You ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Well, I guess. How do I want to open this up?
We could go many places.
I think I want to open this up with just a little prayer.
Perfect.
I think that's the best way to do it. But, really, I just want to say how incredibly, incredibly thankful I am, how incredibly grateful I am to be here, to be held by Pachamama, to be held by this medicine, to be held by you. Oh shit, I'm already gonna cry. We're like 10 seconds in.
It's a record, I love it.
And, I'm just grateful to have this opportunity to be doing something like this, knowing how far I have come in my life and like how much I've wanted to do this for so long, and to do it here with you. Also, someone who I've known and also haven't known for like 2.5 years now, is really amazing. But yeah, just so much gratitude to the universe, to Mother Earth, to Grandmother Ayahuasca, to all the plant spirits that guide us. Yes. Thank you. And may this podcast reach whoever needs to hear it, regardless of who that is. Aho.
Aho. That was so beautiful. You had me tearing up a little bit.
So I guess, welcome to the very first episode of Being Human and Shit, which is a podcast that I have been thinking about for years at this point. And it's just a podcast literally about being human and shit, just like everything about the human experience. But we are definitely heavily guided by the use of sacred plant medicines in this conversation, regardless of where it goes. So it doesn't even have to be about the sacred plant medicines or anything like that. But like, we're obviously very deep in it right now. We're currently in the jungle in Pucallpa, Peru, on an ayahuasca retreat, which is being facilitated by my guest,
Yay.
Brittany Thompson, who's a facilitator at Sowa Charana. She's also the host of the True Britt Podcast, and she is just a wonderful human being who I am blessed to be able to just sit down and have a conversation with today.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm like smiling so big I can't. My cheeks hurt.
It's hard not to, which is funny. We were talking about before we sat down that I'm obviously really tired.
Maybe it's not obvious to the audience, but I'm also very tired.
We just sat in ceremony, our third ceremony of the retreat last night. And we're officially off dieta now, which is really nice. We were able to have some sweet treats and some salt today,
salty Saturday,
which feels so good. Oh my god!
It does.
But man, what a fucking beautiful space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the jungle, and I'm happy it's warm now.
Yeah, it's been really cold these last 2 days, which has been I didn't expect that at all. When you guys even said to pack a sweatshirt, I was like, "Fuck, am I gonna need a sweatshirt for?" Right. And the second that last night's ceremony started, I was the second it started, I was like, "I'm gonna be too cold this entire time." I was, and I didn't bring my sweatshirt, which was just in my tambo.
Oh no.
But like, it was just one of those things that like, and I've done this before. I'm like, what the fuck was I trying to prove? Like, what would just bringing a sweatshirt have done? Like, I didn't have to use it. I didn't have to put it on. But I was just like, nah. I'm not gonna need that. I'm gonna be totally fucking fine. And then I just didn't. The second it started, I was like, well, okay. I think this is just a good lesson. I'm gonna sit with this lesson for a little bit.
Dude, I've done that my whole life. Like when I was a kid, I was always cold, but I was always like too proud to bring a jacket or something. My mom would be like, "You need to pack a sweater. The movie theater's freezing," and I was like, "Nah, I'm fine." And then I'm freezing the entire time. Like, yeah.
And then you're too proud to admit that you're cold.
Yeah. No, I'm good. All it took was just bringing a jacket. Yeah. I don't know why I was so adverse to that.
From Chicago too. It gets fucking cold.
Yeah,
man.
It's way too cold.
Did you grow up in Chicago your whole life?
I did. Okay. Yeah, I grew up in the northwest suburbs, Arlington Heights. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in California.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
just in Chicago for 2 years.
Okay.
And I was in Lincoln Park the whole time, so I never really ventured out into the burbs too much.
Not much to see there.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
It's like incredibly flat.
Honestly, looking back on it, there's obviously a lot in Chicago, and Chicago's like a great city, and I loved my time there. But most of my time was just spent drinking and eating food.
Yep.
And being cold.
Yep.
So I didn't
Yep.
actually do much. It was like the illusion of doing a bunch of stuff.
Yes. I was just talking to another guest about that. He's like, is Chicago worth visiting? And I had to think about that for a while. I'm like, well, if you really like cities, but also like there's amazing restaurants and there's amazing bars and breweries, but I just don't really like doing those things that much anymore. So
Yeah.
I mean, when I was in Chicago, I really thoroughly enjoyed that, but that's like kind of all I could do. So it got kind of boring, but yeah, and I really didn't like the cold. That's why I love the jungle, even though it's buggy.
It is buggy. I'm getting, you don't look like you have barely any mosquito bites on you.
No.
I'm getting, there's like 5 just right there.
Yeah, you're getting eaten alive.
Yeah, I am. It's okay. I've accepted it. Mosquitoes just like me way too much.
They do.
And I'm cool with that. Well, I don't know if I'm quite cool with it yet, but
You've accepted it.
I've at least accepted it, and I can accept it to the point where I know I don't like it.
Right. Totally fair.
But I wish it were a different way.
Yeah, I'm blessed.
Yeah.
Mosquitoes have never liked me. Maybe that's why I like the jungle.
Yeah. So, you were obviously a facilitator at Dreamglade.
Yeah.
Which is where I first went on my very first ayahuasca retreat, little over 2.5 years ago at this point. Mm-hmm. And that's how I found out about you, but didn't know you. And you just happened to not be there, of course, when I was there. And I remember being so excited because you were reading the facilitators' bios and everything. It said that you were from Chicago, and that's where I was living at the time. I'm like, oh, cool. I'm gonna have something in common with someone there, because it was such a new and wild experience to me.
Yeah.
That I was just happy to know I'd have some familiarity. And then obviously, of course, I get there and Stacey's like, oh yeah, Britt's off right now. She's back in Chicago. I was like, God damn, I was just there.
That is such weird timing. I remember when I got back to the center and they were like, oh, this guy from Chicago was like really sad you weren't here. And it made me sad too, because normally people aren't like specifically excited to meet me. They're excited to meet like the curandero or the curandera. And once in a while I get someone, and it's usually someone from Chicago who's like really pumped to meet me. They're like, oh, Midwest girl. Mm-hmm. So I was really sad that we didn't get to meet. But then I was happy because I think Jess gave me your Instagram or something, and I started following you.
I think I hit you up on Instagram.
Okay.
I DM'd you. Like I followed you afterwards and just sent you a DM being like, hey, I was just at Dreamglade. Like,
yes.
I live in Chicago too and all that. And then you're like, oh, I'm going back to the jungle right now. It's like, God damn it.
And then we meet in person like years later, right? That's
like 7 weeks ago.
That's crazy.
For the first time. Yeah. But we've been following each other this whole time, and obviously now you're doing this. So I'm actually like really curious. Like, so Sowa Charana, like, which is you, Kevin, Ben, and Lydia. Lou and Lydia. Lou's not here at the moment. But I know Lou. I love Lou. Shout out Lou.
Shout out Lou.
Was this like all of your collective ideas? Like after you and Ben left Dream, like how did this actually come about?
Yeah. Oh, I like this story. It's just really cool. So after Dreamglade, the Ayahuasca Center I was working at for a couple years, I quit. And I don't know, Ben and Kevin, my two friends and other facilitators on this retreat, and way more than that, like family, brothers, I love them so much. But they kind of knew right away that they wanted to be like working with ayahuasca. Like that's what they wanted to do. And as much as I loved being an ayahuasca facilitator, I didn't feel that same like, oh yes, that's definitely what I want to do. I knew that working there for that time period was exactly where I needed to be and what I needed to do, but I wasn't, like after I quit because they changed ownership, I just wasn't sure what I was doing anymore. And so I kind of had this year of like, I wouldn't call it exactly being lost, because after working with ayahuasca for so long, I didn't feel like lost anymore, but I just didn't feel like certain of what I needed to do next. So we started...
Do you ever?
No. But I had no idea. I was like, maybe mushrooms are my thing.
Yeah.
Actually, funny story, after the ayahuasca retreat, I thought maybe wachuma was my medicine because I loved drinking wachuma, San Pedro, the cactus. And I kind of had this thought, I was like, maybe that's my medicine, which looking back is like such a funny thought. But I drank wachuma like 3 times after Dreamglade, and all of them were just like nothing really happened. Like I couldn't even hold it down. I drank it, and then like you're supposed to wait until Lou or whoever says like now you can throw up, but every single time I was just like, I can't hold this down. And then like nothing really happened, and I was just like, okay, this is not my thing. And to be honest, I think one of the reasons I wanted to work with wachuma, or I wanted it to be my medicine, is because at least the way they do it, a lot of the people I work with, is it's done in the light and it's done in a group, and you can like be social and talk, and it seems so much more straightforward and simple. And ayahuasca is just like this crazy, messy, darkness out there thing.
Yes.
So I was like, oh, wachuma seems so nice. And it is. I still love that medicine, but it was a clear no for me, dog. Like, no. So then I was like, maybe mushrooms are my thing. I've always loved mushrooms. They were my first psychedelic thing and my first psychedelic love. I love them so much. And we started doing mushroom ceremonies, and every single time, I think I've told you this, but it was just like a full-on ayahuasca trip. And it wasn't necessarily right away. It would be like I'd take them and start tripping and having fun time, and then all of a sudden ayahuasca was in the building. And it just got to the point where I was like, okay, like what the fuck? I can't even work with mushrooms without working with ayahuasca. So then it's kind of a long story, but I like was wandering around. Like I went to India to like find myself, and realized there's nothing to learn there that I couldn't learn in Peru.
What'd you do in India?
I went to ashrams. I did a yoga teacher training. Like I did all the things.
Yeah. Were you by yourself most of the time, or were you with?
I was alone.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I was gonna go with my friend Des, but she had to cancel last minute, so it was just me. And I was like, am I still gonna go to India like alone for the first time? And I was really scared, so I knew I had to do it. And
lean into the fear.
Yeah, I really didn't have fun. Like, everyone talks about India. They're like, okay, it's really polarizing. You either love it or you hate it. And I was like, I'm gonna be one of those people who loves it. And like the whole time, I kept being like, soon I will love India. And I just, I didn't until I left.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I left India, I was like, wow, I kind of want to go back, even though I had kind of a bad experience. I don't want to say bad, but like challenging. It's one of those trips where you keep thinking like, oh, maybe I'm going to meet someone important, or maybe I'm going to like learn an important lesson. And none of the synchronicities were lining up.
I feel like that ties in very well to some of the things that were shared in the circle this morning about like sometimes like if you're having an experience and like you want it to be a good experience or something like that, but it just like sucks.
Yeah.
Like really leaning into, well, why does this suck, and what is this like suck trying to teach me now?
Yes.
So you can like look back again, and like you look back at it and you're like, wow, that was amazing. Like it was probably really like transformational, and like a lot of growth happened, but like while you're doing it the whole time it sucks, and you like you were probably thinking about like, well, I could just leave and like do my other things and hang out with my friends and like do whatever the fuck.
Totally.
But yeah, that's interesting.
It's funny you bring that up, because I was thinking the exact same thing this morning when people were sharing about that. When you get to a certain place in life that you have to do it, and you kind of know it's going to be uncomfortable, but then once you're doing it and it is uncomfortable, you're like, what the fuck? Why am I doing this? Like you forget why you did it in the first place. I was thinking about my India trip, so that was a very good parallel. It's like, that feels like India. And I still like don't exactly know why, but I did. There was a lot of growth because, and I'm going on so many tangents, but there was like, I've come a really long way in, as many of us have, in loving myself and really feeling like I'm my own best friend.
Tough lesson.
It's taken forever, but it's like, and it's something I have to constantly cultivate. Like it's just like any other relationship. If I start
going through that this week.
Yep. It's like building this relationship just like any other person, but it's you. when you take your foot off the gas and you stop putting in effort in that relationship, it starts slipping. So India was a good time for me to like reconnect with myself, just me, and realize like, no, I do love my own company, and I love my friends, and I love my situation. I don't have to like go out and seek new people and new experiences because I already love my situation. And I don't have to prove to myself that I love being alone, like, because I do. And I don't have to go all the way to India to like be alone in an ashram to realize like I just do this at home.
Yeah.
It was pretty painful because it was a long journey and it was very expensive.
You just needed to get very uncomfortable to realize that was the thing. Because if you're doing it at home, you've got all of your comforts at home. So it's only when you're like doing it and also in an incredibly uncomfortable situation that you're like, okay, it's this that I like. I can start incorporating some of the comforts too.
Totally.
and still have the same experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. And in India, uncomfortable is a great word for it. I mean, in every way, you know, like the smells are assaulting you, like the people are sometimes assaulting you, and the beds are like rock hard.
Yeah.
Like it felt like I was sleeping on wood most of the time. Okay. One hilarious story was I was in this hotel, and it was one of the nights I like treated myself and got my own hotel room with my own bathroom. It wasn't very nice, but it was fine. And I like went out into town, and it was raining. It was raining like every day I was there, which was another thing. I was just like, let me make the most of it. I'm gonna rent a bicycle, and it's like pouring rain. But yeah, so I come back trying to keep my good attitude, and this housekeeper's coming out of my bedroom with my mattress, and I was like, oh, was there a problem with the mattress, like bed bugs or something wrong? And she's like, no, this other man arrived today and he wants it. And I was like, so where am I gonna sleep? She just points to the bed frame, and I was like, no. In my country, women are equal, and I'm not sleeping on wooden planks. So anyway, it was stuff like that constantly where I was just like, it was very uncomfortable, but ultimately good for me. But I left India just kind of being like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what I learned from that. I don't know why I went there. I mean, my ultimate lesson was kind of what we already said, like to be more grateful for the stuff I already have and to know that I can do those practices at home. So after that, a lot of other things happened. I went to Costa Rica. I did this like women's coaching retreat, which was epic. And then I did this like very important mushroom ceremony there with this one woman I met and her husband. And I was kind of nervous to do it because I knew that ayahuasca would probably come up, but I warned them, and they consented. They've both taken ayahuasca before. And sure enough, we eat the mushrooms. It's ayahuasca ceremony. Like she's throwing up. I'm just like, oh boy. And the message just comes in like, what are you doing? Like, you need to go back to Peru and learn from the plants and work with ayahuasca because you don't know how to hold this space. Like, you don't know how to be a curandera, and you're acting like you do. Yeah. And that's like really irresponsible.
And this is also after you've been facilitating ayahuasca retreats for 3 years?
Yeah, 2 years.
Yeah,
2 years.
For 2 whole years. That means like you probably sat in easily over 100 ceremonies.
Hundreds, yeah. And it was just one of those moments where I realized, like, a lot of things hit me like a ton of bricks. I can't just do mushrooms or anything casually anymore because I really wanted to just like have a fun time with my new friends and just do mushrooms. It'll be fun. And in the back of my head, I'm like, ayahuasca's gonna be there. And sure enough, not just being there, but being kind of stern with me, like, you can't just do this shit anymore. This isn't casual for you. You're like too far. You're too far in.
You're too far gone.
You're too far gone. We can't save you.
Nobody can save you now.
No.
Except me.
Except me. Come on back to mama. And I was just...
Come back to grandmama.
They both went to sleep, and I'm just like outside and just heard these messages like, you need to learn more about ayahuasca. You need to go learn from the plants. You need to go back to Peru. And there's just like lightning happening and thunder. And I was like, this is epic. Like, I know what I have to do. Yeah. And it had been like a full year, basically. So Ben called me, or I called him or something. I knew that him and Kevin had been dieting and drinking with ayahuasca, learning from our teacher, Lydia. And I basically said, I told them the message I had received. I told them I wanted to come back to Peru and work with plants, but I also told them I'm broke. Like, I have no money anymore. All of my ideas for jobs just kind of fell through. I was like, maybe I can teach yoga. And I was like, I don't really want to do that. maybe I can do this. I don't really want to do that. So it was a lot of that happening. But now I'm like, well, I can't just move to Peru with no money at all and no plans to make any money. And I also know, based on past ayahuasca experiences, that I can't sacrifice this life path. Like, she won't let me, well, I shouldn't say that, but like, there's always free will, but I think my choices, and Lou told me this phrase that I love, is accept or suffer. So I could accept that path, or I would not do it and I would suffer.
Yeah.
And it's like, same thing with if I tried to get a job, like I've done in the past, of like a waitress, a barista, like these little things, I'd be miserable.
That's what I did when I was in Colorado.
Were you happy?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, there were glimpses, you know, I when I say I wasn't happy, like, I'm kind of a happy guy. So like, generally, yes, but like, there was always just something that was like, this isn't it. I still wasn't fulfilled.
Right.
Yeah. And so like, that was really the biggest thing.
Exactly. And I was confused because I saw people doing that and it looked like it was working out great for them. Like, they were genuinely happy.
I know.
And I was like, why can't I be like that? That looks great. It's because ayahuasca, it's like she had a fishing pole with bait on it, you know, and I took the bait and she's like reeling me in. And I'm just a fish kind of like flopping back home.
And then occasionally you're like, maybe I could swim off a little bit and do something over here, but you're still on the line.
You're still on the line. That's a great call. Yes. Exactly. So, yeah, I had that phone call and I just said to Ben, like, I need to make money and I want to do it with doing this stuff. Do you think, I was like, I want to do a retreat with you guys. And Ben's just like, okay, we'll make it happen. Like, if you come back to Peru, we'll do retreats. Just made that promise to me. And so I got back to Peru and we just like immediately started planning everything. And Ben was amazing about it. Like, we came up with a name together and the website. We spent a long time building the website.
It's a good website.
It was mostly Ben. And yeah, I think it was just so cool to see how fast everything kind of fell into place once we just decided. And
this is your fourth retreat?
This is our fourth retreat. Yeah, and things have just been going so well. I kind of thought our first year could be really tough. Like, we might not get many guests, and I was kind of planning on like, okay, we might have to go into a lot of debt, but I'd rather do that and like get people here. But they've been filling up, and it's
this is full. This is a full retreat.
It's amazing, and I'm just, like you were saying at the beginning of this, but I'm just absolutely incredibly, insanely grateful that it seems like every single time I listen to these kind of insane seeming calls, like, it sounds crazy that to most people that when I'm on mushrooms in Costa Rica, I get a message from ayahuasca that I need to go back to Peru and that we need to do retreats. Like, all that sounds kind of wild, but it just, when I listen to it, things just line up. And the plants keep telling me, which is another phrase that sounds crazy. Yeah. But they keep telling me, like, if you keep doing that, you'll be supported.
Yeah. Now, this might be a question that's kind of hard to answer, and I'll give some backstory on where it's coming from, but it's about how do you discern between when it's actually like a message coming in versus when it's your own ego wanting you to do something. And I say this because coming from Colorado, in which plant medicine and many psychedelics are now completely legal, I hear the story all the time of people who have a mushroom ceremony and they're like, the mushrooms told me that I need to start serving this medicine. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm sorry, slow the fuck down. Like, it baffles me. And like, the thing is like, I know it's not coming from a bad place. Like, it is coming from like, you know, like, oh, I want to help people, I want to do this, but like, there's also that I want to. It's not like, like, actually, like, you're doing this to satisfy your own egoic needs rather than actually like truly being of service, like, to the mushroom or to the collective or to humanity. Whereas like, what I love about your story is the fact that you had already sat in hundreds of ayahuasca ceremonies before you're like, shit, I think I need to actually like really learn more about this thing. Hundreds. So before anybody listening to this shit decides that they want to just fucking serve medicine after doing it a couple times, Hundreds.
Yeah, this is a great question because I could go so many different directions, but like one of them is like, yeah, humility is super important. And I think one of the reasons that like all of the people I surround myself with, or all of the people that the universe has brought to me, either way, are really humble, like human beings who aren't carried away by their egos. And I think we're just all attracted to each other in part because of that. And a big part of my process was
Sometimes too much.
Sometimes too much.
Sometimes too much.
Yes.
That was a lesson I learned during the first ceremony. It's like stepping into like, no, wait, I actually do want this.
See, that's the thing. I remember when I went to Drink Blade, and okay, so even more backstory on me. I basically first drank ayahuasca in 2016. Really didn't want to. One of my boyfriend at the time brought me there because he really wanted to. Huh?
I said who was 6'9", by the way.
Who was 6'9".
And I think that's important just because I think that's crazy. But that's the only reason I bring that up. But
if you think it's important, then it's important. It has to be in the story. Yeah, he's a huge fan. Sweet guy. I truly think, I mean, there's a lot of reasons that we were in a relationship, but like it was too mystical in the way that like he brought me to ayahuasca. There's no way I think I ever would have gone without him. And he's not the type of dude who would normally be into ayahuasca. He's not like super hippie or anything. Yeah. He's just like a normal dude. So
this
anyway,
is 2016.
2016.
So that means from 2016 to now, it took you time-wise
so
9
long.
years
So
to
long.
really figure out that, okay, I think I'm going to start stepping into this.
It took so long.
But sorry, you keep
Yeah, it was 3 ayahuasca. No, you're good. I love it. It was a conversation. And I can talk forever, so please interrupt me at any time. So yeah, I did 3 ceremonies and it changed my life. Like it felt like it cured my anxiety and mostly my depression because I just felt connected again. And I didn't feel like I was learning anything new necessarily, but I felt like I was getting rid of a lot of stuff that wasn't serving me, a lot of garbage, and remembering things that I had forgotten. It felt like a giant remembering, like, oh, right, there is some source that's like greater than myself. Of course there is. Like, it was just a lot of these, like, of course, I forgot.
How old were you at the time, 2016?
26.
26.
Yeah, 26 or 27. Oh, I just got distracted. I thought I saw a monkey in the tree, but I don't think it is. So yeah, after that, I thought, I also had such a profound experience with ayahuasca, and sitting in that ceremony, and those ceremonies and at that retreat, everything felt right. Everything felt like I was at home. Like the smell of tobacco, the smell of agua de Florida, yes, mapacho, it's my love. Just the way that everyone was talking about things, the way that everyone was just like burping and not saying excuse me. They could have their elbows on the table. And everyone's dirty and stinky.
Being human and shit.
It was beautiful, and I felt so much relief. And I felt so myself, even though I didn't know what the fuck that meant. That was a huge part of that retreat, was being like, I don't know who I am. I have no idea. Oof. But I know that felt really good.
Oof. Yes.
That felt really good.
Yeah.
To have my feet in the ground and getting dirty and stinky and hairy, and people could hear me pooping, and I like didn't care by the end. It was beautiful, and I had such deep, intense, profound experiences with ayahuasca. I thought everyone had what I had, and I had little hints about this is what you're supposed to be doing, but that scared the crap out of me, and I just totally ignored it. And let's be clear, the medicine did not come in and tell me like, you need to be a shaman. It wasn't like that. And it still hasn't, those words have not come out of anyone's mouth. But it was this feeling of, this is your home, this is your space, like, you belong here. And I kind of thought, I kind of thought like, oh, everyone feels that way. Yeah. Not realizing that's not true. It took me 5 years of intense personal development and going to hypnotherapists, seeing astrologers, going to all kinds of different plant medicine retreats that were not ayahuasca, doing mushrooms every few months. Like, I was just going so deep into all of the things that I had just poo-pooed the rest of my life because they fucking worked.
At the time.
And yeah, it took me, even when I came to Dreamblade, I was like, oh, this is where I'm supposed to be. But even that whole time, I still was never like, oh my God, I'm like, this is my thing. But I remember coming to Dreamblade and Drew's one of the other facilitators there. He's like, why are you here? Like, why are you here? I was like, I want to help people. I want to serve others. He's like, yeah, but specifically, why are you here working with ayahuasca? And he just kept asking me those questions. And I was like, that's a hard question. I don't know. I just feel like this is where I'm supposed to be. And then eventually I got to the conversation of what you're talking about, which is like, okay, I was like, if I'm being really honest, I feel called by ayahuasca and like this is a calling, but it feels scary to say that because I'm a white girl from Chicago and I don't want to be one of these like white people who's coming and drinking and saying that they want to be a shaman, because that just seems so cliche and disrespectful. And I'm really scared that I'm doing this from a place of my ego. And he was like, first of all, like doing something from your ego isn't bad, because your ego is just the part of you that's like making the decisions. And so your ego is basically the one who got you on the plane, the one who decided to come here, like the one who's like making these things happen. So it's not bad that your ego wanted to do this. That's not a bad thing. But the good thing is that you're not like gung-ho, like you said, one ceremony and want to serve medicine. The people who I surround myself and who I respect in this medicine world are not like that at all. We come with respect and reverence and humility and understand that it takes years of training. And yeah, none of us went from 0 to 100. Most of us doubted it and doubted ourselves, probably, like you said, too much. So yeah, that's how I feel about that. I think a little bit of ego, wanting to do things, wanting to be a better version of self, like that's good, wanting to make a difference. But there's a big difference in me sitting here being like, I want to be your healer. I want you to look at me and think that I'm the shit and that I fix all your problems. That's a problem, right? Because now like you think you need me to heal you. But if I'm sitting here being like, I'm here to support you in whatever ways you need and give you words of advice and talk you through how I got through things, but I'm not your healer. Like, you're your healer. You are your own healer. Yeah. And the plants are your healer assistants. Yeah. Everything's helping you, but I don't want it.
Like one thing I've learned, and I think it's like important to just distinguish, just because a lot of people still don't realize this, is like, even when you're coming to do ayahuasca, and correct me if I'm wrong, but like ayahuasca is not healing you. Like, you are healing you. Ayahuasca is like holding this frequency that you can step into to heal yourself, but like it's you stepping in and doing the work. Ayahuasca is not actually doing the healing for you.
Yes.
And it will remind you that time and time again, as it has been over the course of my life and the course of the last 3 ceremonies that I've sat in over this past week, which we can definitely get more into. But yeah, sorry, as you were going.
No, I'm almost done with my story, but that's pretty much it. It's like there's nothing outside of yourself that is coming in and healing you. Like, you're doing that for yourself. It's all this assistance that's really fucking spectacular and beautiful and profound. But I think the people who have issues and the people who I would never sit with are the ones who want others to look at them and be like, that guy's a powerful healer. Like, that guy healed me. I have no interest in working with those people, because for me, like, a practice I try to get into too is when people compliment me or like thank me for whatever I'm doing, I just thank my medicines immediately. Like, sometimes out loud, but usually not. Usually just in my head, they'll be like, oh my gosh, your singing was amazing. And I'm like, thank you, medicines, because it's kind of I got that from a friend, but it's just a recognition that this isn't me. Like, I've been gifted all of these beautiful blessings and these beautiful things. And yes, I have taken the steps to do them, but the stuff that's actually coming through me, I don't want it to be me. That's too much pressure. Yeah. And that's an ego trap in itself.
That's funny. That's how I, not to, I guess maybe this sounds like kind of like a ego inflation, but like how I look at doing this podcast, like literally this exact thing, is like, I don't want this to be something where like, oh, like I'm doing this thing and like, I don't know, like having these cool guests and these cool conversations or whatever, is like, I really look at it as like, I'm trying my hardest, maybe not always hitting the mark, but like to allow this conversation to be the plants like flowing through us as much as possible, just to be what like needs to be heard whatever that is.
I love that.
And it's hard. It's taken me a while to like, I think, get to like this level of confidence with it, and like knowing how to listen and like tuning that antenna to really actually be able to do that. And you know, a big part of this retreat, and at least like the first ceremony, was like stepping into my authentic self, and like we talked about authenticity, and just how like important that is, to me, how important I feel it is in like everything that I do, is being able to show up as like my authentic self.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to do that when I didn't have full confidence in being able to like say who I was, and like be proud of who I was. And like I said, during that first ceremony, there was like a part where like, you know, I literally like stood up, and like ayahuasca told me to repeat like, I am Cameron Leeds, like I am Cameron Leeds, and be like straight back, like proud, like I am Cameron fucking Leeds, you know. And it's taken years for me to like get to that place to really like truly own who I am and what it is that I want to do. And also being able to admit that like I don't have all the answers at all. Like I'm just, as far as what it is I want to do, it's like I'm following spirit, I guess. Like I don't fucking know.
Me and Drew we were just joking about that yesterday, because he's talking about his ceremony, and he's like saying something, you know, well, ayahuasca said blah blah blah, and he's like, well, to be honest, I don't know if it was ayahuasca or if it was me. And then I just kind of said like, well, to be honest, like we don't really know anything. Like we don't really know, like we don't really know anything, like for sure. We know we're gonna die. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
We do know we're gonna die. That's one thing all of us have in common.
Yes.
And you said something too, is like ayahuasca, or maybe it was you, but like I've heard that like ayahuasca is like almost like a practice in like death, and like that's what it was like almost put here to do, is to like help us. Yeah, can you expand on that?
Yes. Yeah, sure. I mean, I might butcher this a little, but Stace, the old owner of Dream Glade, used to talk about this, and he'd say like a lot of ancient cultures, especially in Egypt for a really long time, like really put a lot of emphasis on death and the importance of paying attention to death and respecting it. And I've heard so much about death along the way. It comes up so much with ayahuasca. That's why some people call it the vine of the little death, like you said, the practice run. And
like dying before you die.
Yeah. And I think he said in Egypt, but it could be in a lot of other cultures too, where it was a really important thing how you die. And I think a lot of religions and a lot of spiritualities still believe that and still put that importance on how you die. And there's a lot of like dogma around this that I don't know what I believe in around all of that. But like, for example, some people say that if you die in a really stressed out way, like if you're, I don't know, in a battle and you get shot by like your friend and you feel betrayed and shocked and you go up and you're agitated, that agitation could carry with you into the next life, or it's just like not such a pleasant experience. But if you can approach death calmly and in a state of surrender, then it'll be a really peaceful experience, like passing all the way through.
Yeah, that reminds me of just something that ayahuasca has taught me, but like pain is inevitable, suffering is a choice. Like, yeah, we're gonna feel pain in our lives, and like in that exact scenario, if we want to play it out, like you get shot, I'm sure that's not a great experience, but like you can relax into it and die peacefully, or you can choose to be screaming and kicking the entire way.
Yes, exactly.
But it's just a choice.
It's just a choice. Yeah. And most people, our gut reaction is to probably freak out. Yeah. Like if we're dying, we'd just be like, "Wah!" And resist.
I don't want to go. I don't want to go.
I don't want to go. Oh, what the fuck just happened? So they say that ayahuasca is a really good opportunity to practice death before it happens. And sometimes you don't get a choice.
I'd say most of the time you don't get a choice in how you're going to die.
But it's, yeah, in general and on ayahuasca. If she wants you to practice death, you might not have a say in it at all. Yeah. Or, yeah, it's I've seen it many times where people are kind of aware that it's happening, and most of the time they literally think that they're going to die. And this happened to me. I think it's happened to most people who drink ayahuasca enough. And like for me, for example, I remember just laying there and being like, oh, like all these skulls came into the picture. And I was like, oh, okay, death. And I was like, oh, am I about to, like, I just started feeling horrible. I was like, am I about to die? This giant skull just comes in from the side, just like nodding. Like, yeah. It was so creepy. And I was just like, oh shit, okay.
Oh, no.
And luckily I had drank ayahuasca quite a bit at that point.
Like,
this was probably like
I paid for this.
Yes. I chose this. This is my choice. And I had a short conversation, which was kind of just like, I can't actually die here. Like, I'm a facilitator. This would look really bad if like a facilitator just died here. Like this company would be shut down.
For everyone involved.
And that's what I was thinking about. I wasn't thinking about like, oh my God, I really don't want to die. I was just kind of thinking like the situation at hand would be messy. I don't want to cause that to anybody. But then I realized, oh, this is the death that everyone talks about. I just have to trust that I'm not actually going to die in real life.
Yeah.
And yeah, and just kind of relax into it. But honestly, luckily, the reason I did that was because I heard so many times different people going through this process and just handling it differently. And the people who resisted it had a horrible time.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, like, really regretted it.
Yeah.
They're like, if I ever do that again, I'm just going to relax. So I remember hearing all these people and I was like, okay, I'll just relax, like, and just hope that I'm not actually dying.
And here you are.
And I'm still here. Unless this is all a dream, but yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm still here.
Well, it could all still be a dream still.
It could.
Yeah, you never know.
Have you had the death experience with ayahuasca or any other psychedelic?
I don't think I have. And like the thing is like it's one of those where like, you know, I've had what I would call like ego death, and like ego death in the way that like just like a part of me that like I really identified with was like this isn't you. Like this is done. And it was like, you know, a very uncomfortable experience. But like I wouldn't call that like real death. But I will say that experience did help me. It honestly just brought death into my mind in like a really beautiful way. And like now like I think about death all the time. Like I think about dying literally all the time.
That's awesome.
And just like as being like, yeah, I'm gonna die one day. And it helps me, honestly, the more I think about it, the more present that I can be with what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
And like, okay, like I could literally after this retreat get in a car and that car could get in a car crash and like I could die. So like, well, how do I want to spend today?
Right.
You know, like if I knew that it was possible for me to die tomorrow or next week or next month or something like that, like I like to kind of think about it. What helps me is like in terms of like if somebody told me today you're gonna die in a month, like a month is still, you know, like that's enough time to do things, but also like, you know, not too much time. So it's like, well, how would I spend that last month? And so like I can live my entire life like that right now. Like if I wanted to really like, okay, shit, like I want to do these things and like I just want to live and I just want to love, like
live, laugh, love.
Yeah, I mean like pretty much. Like I just, you know, like I want to be happy. And that's and like I want to be happy and I want to be joyful and I want to be full of love and like feeling like the love like for life. Yeah. And so it's thinking that way and then making the choice like, cool, I'm gonna do that now, or like I'm gonna try to do that. I'm gonna try my best. I'm probably gonna fall short many times, flat on my face, but I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna try again.
Yes.
And that was like yesterday. I told you after yoga that like when we did yoga on Wednesday, which was 3 days ago, during the yoga, they were like, oh my God, all these feelings of just like anger and like a shame and like aggression and like frustration coming up. And like, I didn't really even know where it was coming from. I was doing some of the writing exercises you guys talked about. So like, I think I was bringing some of that up. And then yesterday during yoga, the whole time I was just like engulfed in love. And I was like, wow, this is way better. I think I like doing this more. And like, you know, we've talked a lot about ayahuasca and like, you know, how it teaches all these little things, but like the biggest lesson it has given me and continues to give me is like how do I love more fully? How do I love every single aspect of this human experience, like to the absolute fullest, which I was so resistant to the first time that I got that lesson. And it's like, yeah, obviously if you ask 10 people on the street right now, like, do you want to live full, like, do you want love or do you want hate? Like, they're going to say love, but like, how many people are actually like really actively choosing that love every single day,
right? And
like going deep within themselves. And so even yesterday, my ceremony was fucking challenging.
Yeah, you want to talk about it?
yeah, a little bit, just because I think, you know, it's helpful to hear. Like,
I think so too.
You know, I'm obviously smiling right now, and I'm super happy, and it's because I mean, like I am, that I got to have that really challenging experience. But you know, it started with just like physical discomfort and pain, which I felt before, and I felt pretty confident in like handling. And like ayahuasca also kind of like teaching me at the beginning, I was, you know, I still kind of resist purging sometimes, like just subconsciously. Like came up in the second ceremony, I'm like I have this identity of like me being like a fighter. Like I've had to fight for a lot of things in my life, or I've felt like I've had to fight for a lot of things in my life to be able to create this life. And ayahuasca in the second ceremony is like, yeah, you have, but that's not serving you. Like stop. Like there's no reason to fight. You're just wasting your energy. You're just exhausting yourself by doing all the fighting. And so yeah, I thought I had that down. And then and then yesterday, you know, the purges start coming on, and I'm like, okay, don't fight it. Like let it in, accept it. And like learn to love the purge. Like learn to love letting go of the shit that's just in me, that just needs cleaned out. Learning to love that. And I was doing a pretty good job at the beginning. And then right about halfway through, it just wasn't letting up. I wasn't feeling any real connection or having any dialogue or getting the downloads that people talk about. And so I was starting to get fucking pissed. And I was like why, what's supposed to, like, I had 2 beautiful ceremonies, and like the channel was open, and like I met Bobinsana, which is another plant spirit that I was working with, and like you know, everything was more clear than it has ever been. And then I get this experience where it's like, no, like it's just discomfort and challenging, and you have no idea what's going on or how to figure it out. And so I was really trying to think of like, hey, what's inside of me that I need to let go of. And I was just trying to think about it, and like nothing was really clicking. Like I was trying to follow the breadcrumbs, you know, like maybe is it this, is it anger, is it frustration? And then I was thinking like, maybe it's like all this anger and frustration that's coming out. And then like I was like, well, maybe I need to like feel angry and frustrated. And then I got actually angry and frustrated, but like it wasn't ayahuasca telling me to do that. It was me making a choice to do that. And then, you know, basically just going through the whole ceremony, just kind of like pissed off, angry, like feeling like I want to stomp around and like scream at a pillow. And that was it. That was pretty much like the whole ceremony. And then this morning, waking up and reflecting on it and hearing everybody sharing, it's me like coming to that realization that like I don't want to do that. Like like I don't want to choose anger and like just be mad when I don't have to, and like and allow things that I can't control to like piss me off, because it's not, all that did was cause more suffering. It didn't help anything at all. And like I get like a little emotional because it's like there's the opportunity to love myself more deeply in those moments. Like it's really easy to love myself when, you know, things are going great and I'm having all, like, you know, and even just generally in life, when things are going well, it's really easy to love myself. But it's like when things are going like shit and I feel fucking lost, like I have no idea what's going on, like that's where my heart needs to be like broken open.
Yes.
And like that's when I really need to like let love in as much as I possibly can. And oh my God, it's a bitch of a lesson.
Yeah, it is. But it's huge. It's so important and so helpful in your life, because I think the deeper I get into self-love, like the more layer, like we were talking about the other day, like the more layers I'm peeling back, the more kind of thin and intricate it gets. And one mantra that's been helping me recently, because something I realized, and I don't know if you'll relate to this or not, but like as I've been doing the work for a long time, like almost a decade, and by that I just mean like working on myself really intensely, and trying to be better, trying to heal, and of course taking breaks. But like one thing I realized recently is I've gotten the healing process down in my head. I'm like, I got it down. Like what we do is we feel this emotion and like we accept it and we love it, and then it will like transform, it'll transmute, it'll move on. And I find myself trying to speed up that process a little bit. And
impatience.
And I think it's like the step you have to keep coming back to is just acceptance. Like it's like acknowledgement, acceptance, and giving yourself some compassion and maybe even some love. And one mantra that's been really helping me lately is I meet all of my emotions with kindness and compassion, because there's been a lot of times where certain emotions come up, let's say anger or jealousy, which are hard emotions for me to like accept that I'm feeling, because I don't like feeling them. Like no. I don't think anybody really likes it, but it pops up, and one of the first thoughts I usually have is something critical about myself. Like, you're feeling jealousy? Like, aren't you over this at this point? Like, come on.
Didn't you already deal with this?
Right. And it's like, that voice is so unhelpful.
Yeah.
And it's just keeping me from being able to just greet it with love, kindness, and compassion. And then it will move on all by itself. But me being kind of harsh or critical or being like trying to disown it, it's not going anywhere. And it's not helpful.
Yeah.
So that's a good lesson.
Yeah, it is. It is a good lesson. And one I imagine I'm going to continue to learn, and it's going to continue to just pop up in different ways. Because like my first experience at Dreamglade, like the big revelation was I didn't even know what self-love felt like. I'd never felt it in my entire life up until that point.
Wow.
And so now I've done a lot of work since then, and now it's like, as you said, peeling back the layers. It's like, cool. Okay, you can love yourself that way. Now let's give you this and see if you can still love yourself.
Yes.
Let's give you this and see if you can still love it.
Yes.
See if you can just like accept it and own it, and like you know, one of the things too that's come up this week for me is like, you know, not the need to, but like the want to control things and like the want to be in control. And since I started doing this work, like I've tried so hard to go the other way and be like, I'm just gonna try to go with the flow and like do this and be like, you know, just, you know, allow things to happen, not force my force, but like in that one, when I'm then not doing that, I like get into that cycle of like, you know, resisting the resistance.
Yep.
And then but like also just coming to terms with the fact that like, you know what, I like a little control. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think I need to be in control of certain, like, I want to be in control of certain things. And then also, too, accept the fact that sometimes I just can't. And I know with the tools that I've been given, I can still handle it if I can't control it. I can still get through it. But that doesn't mean that, like, I need to shame myself into not wanting any of the control to be there.
Right.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. And it reminds me just of, like I said earlier, about people are like, how do I love myself? I'm like, well, how do you love anybody? It's like cultivating that relationship. At least that's how it feels for me, because just like in a relationship, most people are familiar with this, when you're in like a romantic relationship and you're just showing the best versions of you and everything's fucking great and it's the honeymoon phase. And then all of a sudden someone's shadow kind of comes out, like it creeps out, or it
3 months
shows.
later.
Yep. And you're like, ooh, I don't know if I can like love this person. Like, and I think that stuff happens with yourself, where you're like you said, it's really easy to love yourself when you're doing great. Can you love yourself when you're not doing great? Can you love yourself when you feel like a piece of shit? Like, can you love yourself after, for example, you just had a ceremony where you put yourself through anger for hours and know it was self-inflicted, but can you still love yourself after that? Or are you going to spend time beating yourself up and being like, oh my God.
I just wasted a whole ceremony doing that. And it's like, no, that was the ceremony.
That was the whole ceremony.
That was the whole point.
Yes. And you did it perfectly. And like, Cam, I love you. You know, that's, you did exactly great. And now you learned a lesson and we'll move on.
I did actually. I forgot a part about that I didn't share earlier, but like there was also like a part of the ceremony, just because it did have to do with love at the beginning, where like I went to the bathroom and like, unpleasant things are happening in my body when that happens, as ayahuasca does. And it was like, also being like, love your body too. Like, I don't think I've always had the best relationship with my body as well. And so like being like, hey, like when your body's doing these really unpleasant things that you don't like shitting and farting, like, can you still love your body then? And then like I went back to my mat and I was kind of like touching my body and like loving myself a little bit, giving myself little hugs and little forehead kisses,
That's so nice. I'd love to see you give yourself a forehead kiss.
I know. A metaphorical one. Metaphorical forehead kiss.
It's so beautiful because like there's a lot of people, you are not your body.
And then I got really angry.
And then, after all the love, then I got pissed. Okay, well, at least you had that beautiful moment with yourself.
Yeah. Again, it's all to reflect back on and be like, yeah, okay, I can implement those things moving forward.
Yes.
Just didn't get it perfect at the time.
Perfect. Oh, that's one thing I wanted to talk about when you were saying like most people aren't choosing love, and we were talking about death. Like, I love this one story. Again, who knows if this is the truth, but I just love this, thinking about this, which is, a lot of people, especially in Christianity, will say there's like a judgment day when you die. And they'll say that like, basically you go up to some purgatory.
We call it purgatory here.
Purgatory. And they're like deciding, like they're looking at your life and saying like, oh, how much have you sinned? And if you've sinned too much, you're going to hell. And if you've been good, you're going to heaven. And they say that that's the judgment. But one thing I like about what I've heard through people's describing their near-death experiences is that there is some sort of like judgment that happens, but it's not the way that we think. It's more of you are judging yourself. And by judging, it's not the way that we think of judging. Like, oh, I'm being so judgy. It's more like you're looking at your life, you look at your whole life in review, and the main question you're asking is, where could I have loved more?
Yeah.
I think about that all the time, because at the end of your life, that's really the biggest thing that you'll care about. Mm-hmm. If you're at the end of your life and you're just like, wow, I was an angry person, or I was a dickhead, I treated people like crap, I treated myself so mean, that's not going to feel good. But if you can be on your deathbed and be like, you know what, I made a lot of mistakes, like I did a lot of stupid things, but I loved super hard.
Yeah.
I loved myself, I loved everyone around me, and I feel like that's the biggest thing that matters.
I feel like also too, it's like, can you forgive yourself for the ways in which you did not show up that way? Because like I can't for me, like I can't love myself until I've forgiven myself for the ways in which I haven't shown up, or the ways in which I didn't do the things that I wanted to do.
Yes.
And like there needs to be that level of, for me, that self-forgiveness piece too. Because like anytime that I need to forgive somebody else, it hasn't really been like, oh, I need to like forgive them for what they did. It's really like somebody did something that made me feel a certain way. Can I forgive myself for the fact that I made myself feel that way because of what they never made you feel a certain, like they might have done something, but like they didn't make me feel like shit because of it. They didn't make me feel like I was a worthless person, or that like I was helpless or anything like that. I was the one that made this mostly subconscious choice to do that.
Yeah.
And so it's like, can I forgive myself for doing that to me?
Ooh, that's a really big one.
Yeah.
Because I think, I could talk about this whole like cycle I went through recently about like about feminine rage. Kevin doesn't like that term because he's like, rage is like unconscious. It's an unconscious, like it's when anger.
Rage.
Yeah, he doesn't like that because he's like, it's not conscious anymore if you're in rage. If you're in anger, it's still conscious. But hello, hairless doggy. But if you are enraged. He's like, by definition, you're unconscious. So anyway, I'm just going to call it like feminine anger. I was feeling this little hairless dog making an appearance. But I was feeling all this like anger towards men in this one ceremony with just Ben and Kevin, and it made me feel really uncomfortable because these are like all of the people closest to me in my life right now are men, and I love them so much, and I felt really uncomfortable because I'm like, what is this about? I don't really feel angry at them consciously, and ayahuasca was kind of telling me like, this is the collective, this is what's going on in the collective right now, and it was happening about, I don't know, a month or two ago. And it was weird because after that ceremony, I started talking with girlfriends and they would bring it up without me bringing it up. And so I was like, okay, it's definitely in the collective. But what I realized in that ceremony is the first layer was kind of feeling angry at men. But then underneath that was this anger with myself, and women being angry with themselves for betraying themselves. Because right now there's this anger in the world. I mean, I see it in the US, I don't know where else it is. I'm sure other places where I'm sure it's going around, where women are just like so mad, and rightfully so, about being oppressed for so long. But I think the problem here is they're turning it around and being like, putting the blame on men and being like, men are assholes, they don't deserve a say, when really who they're actually angry at is themselves, because they've allowed them to be treated certain ways. They've allowed themselves to be like treated certain ways and talked to certain ways and haven't stood up for themselves. And that is hard to feel. Yeah. Like that level of like feeling I think self-betrayal has been one of the toughest emotions for me to feel personally, just because it's you. Yeah. It's just all self-inflicted, and of course you could blame the people for treating you badly, but like ultimately you feel the worst about betraying yourself. And so, like you said, can you find the forgiveness for yourself? And underneath all that is sadness, just like a deep sadness that we're not getting along. Like, that sounds very kumbaya, but it's like we're not meant to be so at each other all the time. And so going through those layers and realizing like, ooh, I thought this was like kind of a righteous feeling of being angry at men, when really it's women feeling like, women not wanting to feel the self-betrayal. Yeah, not wanting to, like, and this goes back to like any example whatsoever, but like being able to take responsibility for your shit and for the way that you're feeling, rather than put that off onto another object, person, collective, whatever it might be. Like it all comes back to self. Yes. Ayahuasca is a really beautiful way of always bringing it back to you. Like sometimes Lydia, our curandera, sings to espejo, which is Spanish for mirror. And it always just makes me think of that. She's like, okay, bring out the holy mirror, like look at yourself and be like, it's you, bitch. Like you're the problem. Taylor Swift was right. Yes, thank you. I love quoting that song, and no one knows what I'm talking about. I got you, girl. Thank you. I'm really in touch with my feminine these days. Beautiful. I love it, because there's so many dudes around me. We need some feminine here. Yeah. Beautiful. Oh man. Well, I think that I don't really have much else that's coming up for me at this time. Okay, sweet. I have no idea for how long we've talked. Yeah, no, neither do I. But I guess just to like wrap this up, thank you again. Like, this is wonderful. Oh, thank you so much. Truly wonderful to just drop in with a friend and like be open and talk about like raw, real shit, and also both of us still having a smile on our faces the entire fucking time, and crying and all the things in between. It's I mean, I can't believe life has allowed me to do this. Yeah, it's fucking cool. It's so cool. I'm so grateful for you, Cam. Like, I'm so happy you came on this retreat. And beyond that, like, I'm so happy to have you as my friend, and you're just such a ray of sunshine. You're just such a positive energy to be around. Just a positive human being, and you're so inspiring. And I am so happy you're doing this. Like, this is really fun and cool. And I bet a lot of people on your podcast are going to be tired like us. But it's kind of fun to be like half asleep and just be like,
yeah, because again, like I just don't care. Like I don't care what I say.
Who knows what's gonna come out?
And I know that it's coming from me is the thing, because it's just like the like the ego's gone.
Exactly.
It's like I'm just gonna riff.
there's no energy left to like try to control what comes out of this mouth, which is really beautiful. And I mean, where we are is beautiful, and our lives are beautiful. And I'm so happy to be on this journey with you.
Love you.
Love you so much. Thank you.
And then also too, for anybody listening, make sure that you like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. And then also too, I have a private community on Patreon, so be sure to check me out on there, where we can do like more community stuff, like community group calls if you want like one-on-ones with me, or just anything like that. I really don't know what it's going to be, but I know I want to build more of a community, so check me out on there, and then follow it on my socials and Britt's socials, and check out the True Britt Podcast. All of those links will be in the description. That's a wrap.